What's up, guys? Trevor here with Ecommerce Paradise. Today, I want to tell you how to process and manage orders for your high-ticket dropshipping business. If it's your first time watching one of my videos or listening to my podcast, get my free niches list for high-ticket dropshipping at ecommerceparadise.com/niches and get my free ultimate guide book for high-ticket dropshipping at ecommerceparadise.com/book. It's almost 1,000 pages of pretty much everything you need A to Z for high-ticket dropshipping. All right, so let's get into it. So order processing for high-ticket dropshipping is a little bit different than for a low-ticket business where you have like a direct automation program set up with whatever supplier you're working with. With high-ticket dropshipping, oftentimes the suppliers won't have online portals, so you're gonna have to send them a purchase order by email. And oftentimes high-ticket dropshipping suppliers, since they sell big, bulky products, they're very expensive to ship and they can't offer free shipping. So they have to charge you for shipping specifically for each order. They have to get a shipping quote with a freight company and process it. Sometimes they won't even do that. Sometimes they'll require you to have your own freight company and account set up and provide them with the bill of lading and all that stuff. So it's a whole process to go through. But the benefit of high ticket drop shipping, obviously, is that you're selling multi-$1,000 products and you're getting, up to multi-$1,000 profit per order. So instead of selling an order, getting $20 in profit, or maybe up to $100 in profit, you're getting like $500, $600, maybe $2,000 in profit on orders. So the most profit I ever made on an order was $5,000, and I was just really amazed by that. High ticket dropshipping is awesome because of that, but because of that too, you have a lot more to deal with the order processing, with the different things that can involve that. Like basically, the way we work is we have a system set up. Number one, you want to make sure the orders you get online aren't fraudulent. That's the key. So setting up something like ClearSale or Signified, a fraud detection app, that's going to help you to make sure that the orders you get are not fraudulent. Now, Shopify does have a built-in thing called Shopify Protect, and it works if they use Shopify Shop Pay and all that stuff. PayPal has one as well. But really, the key is you just want to make sure one way or another that it's not fraudulent. And there is a system that they use called a reverse lookup. And the reverse lookup is basically you just take whatever the customer put in for their order information and you look it up online and try to tie it back to that customer. So basically the address, you try to tie it to the name, you try to tie it to the address. If they put a business info in there, that kind of thing, phone numbers, email addresses, all that stuff, you're trying to look up those things separately online and find information relating to the other parts of that information that they gave you. And that basically tells you if it's publicly available online, it's probably correct. If there isn't anything that's tied to that customer, then that's a red flag, okay? Another red flag with fraud you got to be careful with is people are going to oftentimes want to call on the phone and place the order over the phone and make you place the order for them. So it's very difficult because when you place the order for your customer on your computer, for example, like using Shopify's draft order function, they're not able to track the IP address and make sure that it ties to the actual location of the card owner. So that's one of the things they use to address whether it's fraud or not. And so, what we usually do is we instruct the customer to place the order on their computer or their mobile device where they at, and we just walk them through the process over the phone instead of doing it for them, just because that gives the fraud department the ability to see the IP address and make sure it ties to the same location as the credit card owner is located. Now, sometimes people are buying stuff as a gift, and that's perfectly fine. But we still want to make sure that the location that the person is placing the order from isn't really far away from where they live, because then that's really weird. Maybe they have an excuse like they're on vacation or something like that, and they're buying a gift for their friend. This happens a lot through the holiday season. So you just really have to play each one. And the benefit of having something like ClearSale set up is that they will cover you in case it is real fraud and they approved it. And I've had that happen quite a few times. So if you're interested in setting up ClearSale, go check out our referral link, ecommerceparadise.com/ClearSale, and you can get set up with them directly. All right, so that's the first step, is making sure the order's not fraud. And the next step is to actually get a quote request from the supplier if they charge shipping costs. Now, shipping costs are something you're gonna have to figure out with your supplier before you start advertising products, because if they charge shipping, you want to get some idea so that when you get an order, it doesn't turn out that the shipping costs eat all the margin. And that's pretty common, unfortunately, that the shipping costs are quite high. Like if you sell a $2,000 product that makes $400 in profit, which is pretty common, 20%. Well, if the shipping fee is $350 and your order processing fee is 3%, there goes all your margins. So you got to really make sure. And what you can do is you can just check your competitor sites and just see if they charge shipping or not. Oftentimes they'll have it cooked into their product descriptions, a variant, or they'll just charge shipping and checkout, which is kind of common, maybe like a flat fee. But you can just ask your supplier too, like maybe get some average shipping costs for different regions in the US. It really depends on where they ship from. If they ship from an LA warehouse, then obviously any orders in Southern California aren't going to cost too much. But an order from New York or Florida is going to cost a lot, right? And vice versa. Or maybe if they have a warehouse that's like in Denver, Colorado, or in Texas somewhere, that's pretty central in the US, it's going to cost about the same to ship almost anywhere besides somewhere close to them. So also sometimes suppliers allow for warehouse pickup, which is a really cool thing. You can, arrange that with them. And if they do, then you can provide that on your website, allow the warehouse pickup as a obviously no shipping option, and then have a shipping cost in a variant. But you do have to keep in mind with Google Merchant Center that they're really strict these days with stores, and they want you to have a very straightforward website and product listing and all that stuff. So if you try to do anything shady or a little bit misleading, it's pretty easy to get misrepresentation suspensions these days from Google Merchant Center, which means you can't run Google shopping ads, which is kind of one of the best places to get, really qualified leads and traffic for your high ticket dropshipping store. And you really need that. Microsoft shopping ads works great, and it's really easy to get approved, and they're not so strict. So definitely use them. But I usually spend way less on Microsoft shopping ads than I spend on Google shopping ads. And I like to invest more money into SEO because it's just more of a long-term play. And when you get free traffic and free sales, obviously your cost of acquisition goes way down. So let's get beyond this. So what happens next, if they have shipping costs, once you send a quote request, you'll get the shipping. And if it's profitable after shipping costs, then you can send them a purchase order. And a purchase order is just basically you saying that, okay, this order's good, ready to ship. If it's confirmed in stock and ready to and it's profitable, then you're good to go. You should have a card on file with your supplier already. They're probably going to ask that when you first sign up with them. They'll usually give you a credit card authorization form, and then they'll charge the card on file, and then they'll prepare it for shipment, and you just have to follow up. Some suppliers, they ship within a couple days. Some suppliers take up to a week or two. Really depends. And also it depends. Some suppliers have custom made products, so it can take up to like 3 to 4 weeks to ship. So you really just have to, before you start advertising products, you have to ask them what their shipping lead times are, and if they're custom order or not, and like just all that stuff, how fast do you ship? Usually what I do for new stores is set up a kind of a blanket shipping policy, like just say 3 to 10 business days to ship stuff out. But the key is that there are some suppliers that are excluded, and then you have to put those exact exclusions on the product pages for those suppliers. Okay, so keep that in mind. But overall, the process is once you send the PO, they're going to ship it out. And then once they ship it out, they'll send you a tracking number. And if it's with a freight company, it'll be a tracking number with that freight company with a link to track it on that freight company's website. If it's with a more common carrier like UPS or FedEx or something like that, maybe even USPS if it's a small product, they'll send you a link for that and a tracking number, and then you can input that into your Shopify store, or if you're using WooCommerce, into your WooCommerce store or something like that. And then that'll send an email to your customer with the tracking info, and then it'll let them track it. And then it'll also give them an order status page on your website. They can go to their website and check the order status page, and it'll tell them where it's at. One really good thing you can do is set up an app called AfterShip. AfterShip helps tremendously because AfterShip allows you to set up notifications that'll send to you and your team as well as the customer if there's any product shipment exceptions, which an exception basically just means that they couldn't deliver it for some reason. Maybe it got delayed in shipment or lost in the warehouse, or they tried to deliver it and they couldn't, or something like that. So as long as you and your team and the customer are all getting notified about the shipment exceptions when they happen, you can address them immediately and try to figure them out. If you don't get notified, then you don't really know what's happening, and things will fall through the cracks. So you don't want to do that. But yeah, so now if you do get an order for something and your inventory for some reason isn't updated on your website and it's out of stock, that's a whole nother thing. And it's kind of a process you have to go through because with high ticket, you would want to keep the order. So ideally you want to email and call the customer. If they're not answering the email right away, then call them. Sometimes it's better just to call them because it's easier to talk to somebody and talk them into an alternative product or into waiting for that product as opposed to going to a competitor. Because oftentimes competitors' websites will not be updated either. So they're going to order from a bunch of different competitors, and each one is going to tell them they're out of stock because they're all getting it from the same source. Nobody's actually stocking these products. They're all drop shipping from the supplier's warehouse, right? So yeah, if something's out of stock, just notify the customer and let them know. You have to contact the supplier, get the lead lead time if you don't know it already. But I do recommend, if at all possible, that you update the inventory on your website. And to do that, just ask your supplier for their inventory sheet. Usually they'll have a sheet they update, like a Google sheet, or they send out a weekly or even daily spreadsheet that gives the inventory for each SKU that they sell. And then that's going to give you the ability to update your website. Now there's apps like SyncX, and you can even do like Zapier or some other sort of automation, maybe just use AI or do it manually. But you got to update the inventory on your site periodically, at least, because then your website has a chance of making in-stock sales. Because if you're running ads to products that are out of stock, you're really wasting money, because even if you do get an order for that, you're not going to be able to, fulfill the order, which really sucks. You're going to cancel that order. That's why I also recommend never set up auto capture for the payments on your website. Always set it to manually capture, because these days payment processors do not refund payment processing fees, and that's about 3% of any order. And for high ticket, that's a lot of money. For every $1,000, that's $30 of payment processing fees. So you get like a $5,000 order, and all of a sudden you're out $150 just because you didn't set up manual authorization and it's out of stock, right? So that would suck. So make sure you set your settings to manually capture so that you can just void the authorization if it's out of stock and the customer wants to cancel. But if it's out of stock, you just send an email and call them and say, hey, here's the lead time once you get the lead time. And then here's some alternatives. We always provide alternatives. And that's why this is really good to have multiple suppliers on your store, because with multiple suppliers, you'll have similar products that they can go with. And so provide some alternatives, some similar products from other brands. And then maybe if that same brand has alternative products as well. And then just give them some incentive to keep the order, like an additional discount or an additional free gift, something. Because if you incentivize people, oftentimes they'll keep the order and they'll also give you a good review. They'll be happy about that. So yeah. Incentives are great. Use them everywhere. Incentivize people to leave you reviews as well after the order's delivered, and follow up and make sure everything went well, email and phone call, and incentivize them like, hey, I'll give you a $20 gift card or a $50 gift card or something if you take a picture or make a video review of the product and send it to us and let us use it on our YouTube channel or on our website. You can set these automations up in your reviews provider and your email marketing, and just have your team do it for you, manually. But yeah, getting reviews is the best thing. Set up a third-party website like Trustpilot or something, so that reviews get left on third-party websites too, which is really, really beneficial, because that's just shows tons of trust signals to Google, and it's going to help with getting approved with Google Merchant Center as well. All right, well, that's pretty much it. Every supplier is different. Some suppliers have dealer portals that you can place orders on. Some suppliers will just let you place it if they sell direct to the customer themselves, DTC. They'll just let you place on their website and give you like a coupon code. And so every supplier is different. Some suppliers, they just take email purchase orders. Some suppliers, again, online dealer portals, like specific portals for their wholesale clients and all that stuff. Some suppliers just direct to consumer, just buy it off the same website. Here's your dealer discount code, gives you 30% off or 20% off or 15% off or 10% off sometimes, whatever it happens to be. And guys, by the way, I do not recommend doing drop shipping if the supplier gives you less than 20%. If they're giving you 15, okay, maybe, but anything less than that, it's really just not worth it, because you're taking a risk, and you're just not making that much benefits, not much reward. So low risk, high reward, low reward, high risk. It doesn't make any sense. It only makes sense in this business model if your margins are over 20%, because then you can offer discounts and free gifts and things like that, and still pay the payment processing fees. Keep in mind with financing, and financing providers are a great way to get more sales. They're going to take up to maybe 6 or 9% of a processing fee, like Affirm and Klarna and all that stuff. 6% is pretty normal. So you're going to have to pay more for your orders sometimes, just to make it easier for customers to place orders with you. But yeah, guys, if you want help with high ticket drop shipping, I provide private coaching, a full masterclass, community and coaching program, as well as done for you services. So check all that out at ecommerceparadise.com. Also check out our tech stack at ecommerceparadise.com/resources. All of the different softwares we use to set these businesses up. If you want private coaching from me, just go to ecommerceparadise.com/coaching. If you want to check out our full course, ecommerceparadise.com/masterclass. And if you want access to our community, go to ecommerceparadise.com/community. And if you want our full done for you service, if you're like basically you are interested in setting up one of these businesses, you just don't have time, but you have money to invest in it, and it's something that you want to do long term, go check out our full done for you service. It's called our Turnkey Business in a Box. We just build the entire business for you, launch it, and you have the opportunity to stay with us to scale it as well. ecommercetradehouse.com/turnkey for that. Thanks so much, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Make sure you leave a review on iTunes if you listen to the podcast. And I really appreciate that. It helps us get to a wider audience. And if we've helped you in any way, feel free to go to our Trustpilot as well and leave a review there too. Thanks so much. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you drop any comments or questions in the comments below, and I'll see you out there. Take care.